Good morning. This is me again, the regular voice behind the Diary of a Black Migrant. Good morning from my location is morning. Good afternoon from wherever you're going to be seeing this video from, and good evening also. So today I'm just going to be talking about what I wrote in the page yesterday. I wrote something on the Facebook page of the Diary of a Black Migrant. I wrote about mental migration. And one of my good friends called me. I was like, babes, which one is this mental migration? So we both laughed over it. But however, I slept over it and I was pondering on so many things, and I felt it was necessary we'll talk about this mental migration. So I'm going to be doing some work on my laptop. I'm working from home today. Why we'll walk through or talk through this together. So the literal meaning of migration. What is migration? So I have a lot of meanings, but there's one that caught my fancy here from a laptop. It says the movement from one part of something to another, right? The movement from one part of something to another. When we talk about the geographical migration, moving from one location to another, maybe for a greener pasture, for whatever. But here I'm going to be emphasizing much on what I meant by mental migration. So if migration has a definition that states that it is the movement from one part of something to another. So there could be a movement from a kind of ideology to another. There could be a movement from a pattern or a way of thinking to another. And let me shock you. What makes you, or what makes you who you are today, is the personal discovery you have about yourself, the way you think, the way you see things, and your approach to those things. I'm going to be very careful while I talk about this, because we are all victims here. I've been in a state of mind where I looked at some things not so important. And funny enough, those things were a vital aspect of life. But immediately I upgraded my level of thinking, or I want to use the word migrated. When I migrated from my previous way of thinking to a higher way of thinking, I discovered that those things I felt were not necessary, they were a major anchor of life. So if I had improved on my thought pattern, it means I have migrated from a particular way of thinking to another way of thinking. So babes, you see, when I talk about mental migration, I'm very much on point. Like this channel, we're not just going to be dealing with the geographical migration. We are going to be dealing with mental migration. So if you have your experience, if you have thoughts you want to share to help someone improve, please, my diary is open. Do get to me. Let's get started and talk about it. There were times I took things so carelessly. And let me shock you, when you are migrating from a level of thinking to another, you lose a lot of things. My spiritual father was preaching yesterday, Reverend Chris Christie, and he said something that I think I wrote it down. He said, okay, yes, I have it here. He said, the transformational exercise that transform people is always painful. When you are going through mental migration, there are a lot of things you work hard on. You may need to stop a kind of toxic relationship. You may need to work out of a toxic job. You may need to like separate yourself to an extent that you just need to go into hiding, like to get yourself to discover certain things about yourself. I have worked out deliberately and consciously on a lot of relationships because I felt it was not helping my way of thinking, so I was not getting better. Most times people took offense from this. They got angry. Some people even called me, she's so proud, she doesn't want to mingle. Man, I don't have to lose my life. Each time when I talk, I say you don't have to lose your life because of something. It doesn't mean you have to die. You don't have to lose the basics of your life. You don't have to throw away standards. You don't have to reduce certain values that you know are major things that will breed your life higher. You don't have to lose your life because you want to be in a relationship. If I'm in a relationship with you and it's not adding value to me, I'm not getting improved, like my way of thinking is so low, there's no changes, I think I should consciously, deliberately walk out of that relationship. And if I'm in a relationship with you and it is it is bringing so much to me, like I'm learning a lot, I'm getting improved daily with the way I see things, with the way I think, with the way I run things, I think I should consciously stick to that relationship. So like, don't get offended when maybe people walk out on your life. Perhaps you're not adding value to them. And when you walk out on people's life, they shouldn't also get offended. Like, this is life. We have to get a bearing. We have to work out things that brings newness to us. So when I'm talking about working out, doesn't mean you have to start keeping enmity. No. It's not working now. It's not, when it's not working, it's not working. So I want you to consciously think of your life, discover a major aspect of your life, improve on those things you need to improve on. When you are improving on something or in areas of your life, you know you have had a lot of flaws. It is migration, so you are migrating from the previous level you were to another level. I want you to always know that it is your thinking, the way you see things, that makes you who you are. When Moses sent the 12 spies to go check the land, 10 came back with a negative report. That report or that result emanated from the way they saw things. Do you understand that? The way they saw things, their thinking at that point. But 2 came with a very positive vibes. They said we were able to go up and take the mountain. Have you wondered the differences between those 2 persons that came with a different report and the other 10 persons? It was a thought pattern. Just a thought pattern. 10 of them saw things in a different way. 2 others saw the same thing in a different way. Different thinking. Different vision. So the way you think actually does affect what you see. And what you see does affect what you can get. So if you think in a particular way, you see in a particular way, and you get things in a particular way. Also, when you think in a particular way, you are attached to a particular set of persons who reason the same way you think, and you get things in the same order they get their things. So when you think in a different way, you get things done in a different way. So this morning, I want to admonish somebody that is going to see this video. Please, let there be a mental migration. improve on the way you think, improve on the way you see things. If you have had a particular thought concerning a particular thing for a very long time and there's no major difference, begin to think the other way. Think in a different way and try to see if you can see in a different way. Because you do not expect to do the same thing constantly, for very long, and you expect to see a different result. That's foolishness. If you've been doing something the same way, you've been thinking about something, you've had a constant pattern of thinking and the way you've been seeing things, and you've always gotten the same result, and you want something different, then you have to change or migrate from that thinking pattern to another one to get another result. So I don't know the level you are at this moment. Let there be a mental migration positively. And I want to assure you, you're going to get a good and a huge and a better result. And don't forget what I told you. At times, when you are migrating mentally, it's not just at times. Every time, oftentimes, when there's a mental migration, it is not an easy process. And it's not a process that you just embark on and you expect to see the result, boom. It is a continuous effort. It is a continuous process. Consciously, you are working towards changing the way, the views you have about certain things. And let me shock you. From my experience, mental migration has always been the most difficult aspect of my life. So I think it's one of the most difficult aspects of a man's life. Trying to get yourself out of the traditional way you've always seen things. Trying to break off from the traditional beliefs you've always had about something. And what helps you to migrate mentally is the level of light, the level of knowledge you acquire. You do not migrate mentally in darkness. Knowledge is power. You do not migrate mentally by sitting down like, oh, I want to change the way I think. You get improved with the knowledge you acquire about that particular thing. If you check the life of so many of these great men that invented different things, they did not just try their inventing a particular thing once and it worked. Some needed to try 10 times. Some tried more than 10 times. There was a particular thing I was learning to make. It was food, for instance, for crying out loud. I was trying to learn how to make a particular snack. The first one I did was a total failure. I tried again. I tried several times. I tried like 8 times before I got to the stage that my kids like, oh, mom, this is yummy. The first one I did, they were like, what's this? Mental migration, a unique aspect of a man's life that can alter a particular trend of living. This is an experience I would admonish everyone to go through. And do not forget, when you are migrating mentally, you need wisdom, you need light, you need knowledge, you need to acquire a higher knowledge that supersedes the knowledge you had about that previous thing. You acquire knowledge, you seek for knowledge. That's the only thing that helps you improve mentally. And when Moses died, if you get to your Bible, it says God was talking to, I think it was Joshua, said this book of the law will not depart from you. He needed that book. He needed it seriously to help his way of thinking, to help him in everything. The book of the law will not depart. So if you want to have a mental migration, a mental emancipation, you have to get knowledge. Knowledge is light. Get knowledge. I'm not saying go back to school and study medicine. No, 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 no. Get knowledge in that particular area. You need improvement. And I want to tell you, you'll be free. Like I said before, if you've gone through some processes mentally, geographically, you've gone through a period of migration in your life, please do contact me. I like us to share. Share your experience. Share your process. Let somebody's life be changed. Thank you so much for watching this little video. And if you're just going to come across this video for the first time, please and please and please do subscribe to my channel. Follow us up on Facebook, The Diary of a Black Migrant. We are seriously working on the Instagram very, very soon. We just need some time to make up things. Very, very soon it's going to be working. And I want to thank you so much. I want to really appreciate you, my subscribers. You guys are doing an amazing job. I really want to thank you. I really want to thank you. Let this news get to someone. There is always a room for improvement. Thank you so much, and to have a very wonderful day ahead of you. Thank you. Bye.